Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Larry. Today we're going to talk about leaving a legacy. For you are leaving a legacy, whether you're purposely doing it or not, you're leaving a legacy. You're leaving a memory of how you're going to be remembered. Winston Churchill once said, now I know everybody on this channel's old enough to remember who Winston Churchill was, at least in the history books. A reporter asked him one time, once he left office, he said, how do you think history's going to treat you? And he says, history, and I quote, "History will be kind to me, for I intend to write it." That was kind of a deep thought. History will be kind to me, for I intend to write it. Now, whether we like it or not, we are writing our own legacy as we speak. Truth be told, probably 100 years from now, nobody's going to remember who you were, what you stood for. Nobody's going to remember me. And I'm okay with that, but we are leaving a legacy probably for our kids' generation, maybe our grandkids' generation, and maybe the generation after that. I wish I'd have been smart enough. I wasn't very smart as a teenager, as most teenagers are not. I wish I'd been smart enough or intuitive enough to ask my grandparents what it was like growing up during Depression. What it was like going to war? What was it like seeing your neighbors going off to war and not coming home? I wish I'd been smart enough to ask them questions and get some of their legacy and get some of their wisdom and get some of their knowledge. But everybody in that point of history was focused on the future, because after World War II, everybody was focused on the future. We are leading by example. You're shaping your legacy by leading by example. You know, your kids and your grandkids, they don't necessarily hear everything you tell them, but I'll guarantee you they're gonna see everything that you do. If you do the right things, they're gonna see that. You may not recognize it, you may not be aware of it, but they're gonna see everything you do. I think one big thing about leaving a legacy, oh, there's some bugs out here. One thing about leaving a legacy is that it can be positive or it can be negative. Now, we all know those people. You don't dare ask, how you doing today? Because they're going to tell you every ache and pain they've got. They're going to tell you how bad things are. They're going to tell you how terrible things are. And you know what? That's the way they're going to be remembered. That's not the way I want to be remembered. I try to have a very positive outlook on things. Now, my real close friends, they say, how things going today? I tell them the truth, because they can tell when I'm lying or just blowing smoke. Well, you know, they ask me how I'm doing. Well, if I'm in a lot of pain that day or things just aren't going well, I've been better, but I'll get through this also. But generally, I want to have a positive output, and so should you, because that rubs off on people. You can demonstrate your values, and you have demonstrated your values to your kids and your grandkids. For example, work ethic. Seems to be a lost art these days, but the work ethic is still out there. My sons and I have 3 sons. We disagree on a lot of things. I'm really close to one, maybe 2 of them, and the other one not so close to. But I will say this, all 3 have a good work ethic. 2 of them have their own business and very successful in the world's eyes. And the third one is doing really well. But they all have good work ethics. Did I teach them that? Did I go out of my way to teach them that? No, I showed them that. I got out of bed when I didn't feel like going out of bed. I remember I called one of my sons a couple of years ago, and I said, he'd been sick for a while. And I said, so how you doing, son? He said, well, I'm getting ready to go to work. I said, well, aren't you feeling bad? He said, yeah. He said, but I got work, got bills, so I'm going to work. And he went to work. And I'm thinking, good for him. He has a good work ethic. And even though we are old, we're in the last quarter of our life, believe it or not. Some of you don't want to believe that, but we're in the last quarter of our life. We still need to plan for the future. We still need to think ahead a little bit. And I'm good with that. I don't think real far out, but I do plan for the future a little bit. It says in Proverbs, a good man will leave an inheritance for his children's children. Think about that for a minute. A good man will leave an inheritance for his children's children. In other words, my grandchildren. And that is one thing I'm working on. So after I'm gone, they'll have something. What we need to think about as things are winding down in our life, What brings us the most joy? One thing that gives me the most joy is seeing my adult children grow up to be responsible, good people. That just brings me a lot of joy because I know they learned a lot of those things from me. And of course, I want them to take off where I left off, and they have in some ways, but I want them to do it better. I want them better than me. So you're leaving a legacy. What do you want to be remembered for? I know one thing. I want to be remembered for a couple of things. I want to be remembered for the love I showed people, the help I showed people. I want to be remembered for the kindness I showed people, even when kindness wasn't deserved. Well, a lot of us don't deserve kindness, but we get it anyway. But the legacy I'm looking forward to more than anything is someday I'm going to stand before God and I want to hear the words, "Well done, good and faithful servant." And those are the words I want to hear someday. So anyway, you're leaving a legacy. Whether you're leaving on purpose or accidental, you are leaving a legacy. And I want you to give that some thought. Think about what kind of legacy you're leaving with the people around you. If you get anything out of this video, like, subscribe, share it with someone who may be struggling in this area. But until we meet again, which hopefully will be soon, I will continue to press on towards that goal.